of investors, Avi Cohen.
Good morning, everyone. So I thought we have some new people in the room since the last time I was up here. Actually, I don't remember the last time I was up here. So I figured I'd just kind of talk a little bit about who I am, how I got to what I'm doing, and then give you some points and take some questions. So I moved to Pennsylvania in 2007 from Arizona, and over the last couple years, just been tried out a few different professions and trying to figure out what I'm going to do here in Arizona. I rode the real estate market up and made a lot of money, had a lot of fun, opened up a real estate brokerage with a few other partners, and unfortunately, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. So I also crashed with the market and had to start from ground zero. Came here with pretty much nothing, and 2007 wasn't like the greatest time to get a real estate license, and I don't think Pennsylvania needed another realtor. So I really tried to find a job, and I did some business management consulting for a while for different clients here and there. I ended up getting a job with a flavor marketing company as director of operations. They had a really cool product. You're familiar with the Listerine breath strips? Put them in your mouth, they dissolve. So they had a patent on using that as a marketing delivery method. So you had like Welch's grape juice. Instead of sending everybody a bottle of Welch's grape juice to taste, we could send you in a hermetically sealed pouch a coupon for Welch's grape juice. You could peel it open, taste it, and say, "Ooh, Welch's grape juice, I love it. I'll take this coupon and go buy my Welch's grape juice." It was really neat. Again, 2007, the market was changing, the economy was changing, and it was a startup company that burned through their investment capital pretty quickly, and in 2 years dissolved. But anyway, a few different things. A rabbi introduced me to a commercial real estate broker, Alan Act. And even though I really wasn't looking to get a commission-based job, he was a really nice guy. We got to talking and decided that it would be a good idea for me. And I got my real estate license. That was 2011. I was focused in commercial real estate. That's actually, I got a letter from BNI at AppCore was the name of the company, and the owner handed it to me and said, "You might want to check this out." So I checked it out, and let's see, you were here, you were here, you were here, you were here.
Jason was here.
Jason was here. I met this wonderful chapter and the wonderful group here, and I was doing that for a little while. I got involved in, then I kind of switched my license to another brokerage, Century 21, which allowed me to do commercial and residential, and got involved in HUD properties, and through that, I met some other people who introduced me to a men's organization that's kind of like a peer mentoring program for men, so men helping men to kind of better their lives. And they introduced me to some real estate investors in Trenton, New Jersey, and I ended up buying my first real estate deal at the end of 2013 in Trenton. And I bought a property for $5,500. I put in just under $6,500, and within about 6 months had it rented out for $950 a month. While I was in the middle of that process, I bought another property, and it was $7,500 and sold it for $14,000. And then just one deal turned into another, and eventually I pretty much stopped doing most of what else I was doing and focused on this. And then talking to family and friends about what I was doing, all of a sudden was like, oh, I got $50,000. What can I do with that? You know, I got $60,000. What can I do with that? So that kind of started building up a business as opposed to just Avico and investing in. So now I have probably about 60 deals that are available. I don't have enough capital to buy all those deals. I would need about $3.2 million to buy all those deals, get them renovated and performing. So if you know anybody that has about $3.2 million that is interested in generating, about 14.5% return, put us in touch. That would be a great referral. So that's kind of just, nutshell of how I got to where I'm going. Some of the things that really got me, obviously the prices, that's really great. Most people, when they hear about Trenton, it's a turnoff and they're really not interested. So it certainly takes somebody with a particular set of skills that, allows them to not worry too much all the time about what could be happening to their property. And I offer really a full product. So they really don't ever have to come to Trenton if they don't want to. From start to finish, I find the properties, get them renovated, get them producing, and people can purchase at any part in that, in that stage. So I'll use my investors' money, purchase property, I'll get it started and performing. It'll perform for us as a rental, but at any stage in that game, another investor could come in and say, you know what, I'll take that property, and depending on where they purchase along that timeline, they can get it for, a different price, really. So if I just started renovations, it'll be cheaper than if I'm finished the renovation. If it already has a tenant in it, it'll be more expensive than if it's finished renovations but doesn't have a tenant in it. So one of the things that I've kind of narrowed down, a lot of people ask me what I do, and I've been telling people for a long time that I'm a real estate investor, which I am, but really, I really raise capital, right? So that's really what I do, is I, talk to people about what I do, I raise as much money as I possibly can, and I use that money to, to flip houses or to hold houses, and depending on how somebody's investing, they'll get the return. So there's a few different ways that somebody can invest with me, with my company. The most straightforward way is, and the highest return really, is somebody purchasing a property and whatever returns that property is going to bring. And the average right now is about 14.5% net on a property that's performing and you're getting rent. And that's the most straightforward. So, whatever that property price is, like I mentioned today, $25,000, that property is not ready to go. So it would take about 6 months to get it, from where it is today till where it would be performing. And that's why it's so cheap. Now, if I got that property ready to go and had it already and had a tenant in it, I'd probably be selling it for closer to $35,000. But because right now it's at the beginning, an investor could pick it up, but they'd have to wait, about 6 months before they start seeing the income on it. Another way somebody can invest is simply investing money. So, they, as little as $5,000, they could invest in the company. The company would pretty much treat it as a loan. For 1 year, they would get a 10% return on that money. And I use, $5,000 and $5,000 and $5,000 and $5,000, and that builds up more capital for me to be able to, to invest in more properties. My personal ultimate goal is really to have enough properties that I'm holding and receiving rental income for to, let's say semi-retire. I need about 25 properties, and I'll be able to pretty much have all my bases met, just on rental income. And then obviously everything else is cherry on top. Any questions? Mm-hmm.
I have a two-part question. Number one, how long does it take for someone to typically see their return on their investment? And number two, like you said, with the area, it's not necessarily desirable. How do you get people to kind of be comfortable enough to purchase there?
Right. So part one, again, depends on, how they're investing. So if I have properties that are already producing income. So somebody could give $35,000 and they'll get a property that's producing income from the minute that they buy it. So that's the soonest somebody could see their money. So right now, I'm meeting tomorrow with somebody that's, gonna be putting in a contract on one of those properties. They're gonna buy it for 30 grand, it's making $875 a month in rent, So that's the quickest way to get money and turn it around. Like I said, if the property is just in the beginning, so like the property I mentioned, my 32nd, so it'd be about $22,000 right now. It'll take between renovation, getting all the city, certificate of occupancies, inspections and all that kind of stuff. And then getting a tenant, it'll be roughly 6 months. Be a little quicker, but 6 months is a safe time frame for that. And if they just invested, like I said, $5,000 or $100,000 and we're just looking for a secured return, it would be 1 year. So, give me $100,000, get 10% at the end of 12 months. And then you can decide what to do with that. Anybody else? You are? No? Okay, thank you.
All right. So if you know anyone who has $3.2 million, tell them to call Avi